Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me for another video. Today we're going to be talking about my kind of favorite tips that I have put into practice to help me stop buying, and I thought that you might find these tips helpful as well. Reducing how much we consume is so important for living a low impact lifestyle, for also reducing your waste, and also, if you're into minimalism, then it's a really great way of also decluttering your home and making sure that you're not bringing in things that aren't of value to you. What's really great about these tips as well is if you're looking to save a bit of money, then well, you're in luck because these guys will help you to save money too. Anyway, grab a cup of tea, and without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So on a more practical sense, the first one is to simply delete apps off your phone that encourage you to buy things. So if you have things like Amazon or any kind of shops that you love to purchase from, by deleting those apps, you're deleting the temptation, you're deleting any kind of triggering and reminding of those things being present on your phone. I remember when I deleted all of the apps off my phone, then I wasn't reminded that the possibility of buying something was there, and so my mind wasn't constantly reminded that purchasing something new is a possibility. So by deleting the apps off your phone, then you're much more likely to kind of forget about it, and when you're scrolling through your phone, you're more likely to then actually go off and put your phone down. So it's a simple one, but it really does work. Number two is to unfollow any fashion brands or any kind of influencers who really promote consumption and buying new things and lots of things on any kind of social media. I remember when I was a lot younger, I used to watch all of like Zoella's hauls and what she would buy, and it would really get inside my head and make me feel like I needed to have those things as well. And by being constantly bombarded with all of these people who are promoting different brands and different new clothing items and just kind of furniture and stuff, it makes you far more likely to actually want to go and buy those things yourself, because if you're watching especially an influencer who you really admire and they're telling you to, not telling you necessarily to buy something, but if they're showing you all of the things that they have, then you really want to have those things as well. I know that I certainly went out and bought a lot of things after I watched all these big hauls and deeply regretted them because they weren't even good quality, and I ended up, the lifespan of them wasn't very long. So unfollow any people that are particularly making you, I guess, triggered when it comes to shopping and makes you really think about it, and try to just avoid those people altogether if they really are not, promoting any positive habits in your life. Number three, and this is my favorite one, is to create a wish list. By shopping with intention and with pre-planning, it means that you're much less likely to impulse buy and you're much less likely to waste unnecessarily. So there are of course a few things that I would really love to buy, but one, I don't really have the money to do it at the moment, and two, I really don't need to be bringing new things into my life while I still have a lot of stuff. So one of the best things to do is to create a wish list. Write down anything that you think you want or you really want, or or write down the big things that actually those are what you would rather spend your money on, and you would rather save and buy those things instead of buying a few cheap tops from a fast fashion brand that aren't going to last very long and actually will prevent you from buying the things that you really want and would add genuine value to your life later on. Number four is to set savings goals. So this is kind of where stop buying and saving money come in together. By setting some saving goals, maybe for your wish list, or maybe for a trip with your partner or your family, or just simply your friends, or anything like that, by setting some saving goals, you're much more likely to think twice about buying something that you don't need, and you're much more likely to actually put that money away and save it for something that you're going to get far more joy and value out of. At the beginning of this year, with with my kind of New Year's resolutions, I also set some saving goals, and I have been able to, you know, upgrade my camera, or I've been able to go on a trip to visit my boyfriend a little bit more regularly than I would have before, because I had those saving goals in mind. If you're in a long distance relationship like me, then your saving goals might just be to afford to go and visit your boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever you're seeing every kind of, you know, month or so, or 2 months or 3 months, however often. And by having that saving goal in mind, then you're much more likely to put the money away than to spend it on something frivolous that you really don't need or want. Number 5 is to listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos, watch films about minimalism or reducing your waste. I also love to watch The Financial Diet on YouTube because they're a great source of how to save money. And by watching these, they kind of re-inspire me and remind me why I'm trying to stop shopping in the first place. I watch a lot of minimalism videos because I really love seeing how much happier people are when they have decluttered their kind of space and they haven't brought any new items into them. And I genuinely feel so much more calm and a lot less stressed because I don't have a lot of stuff simply cluttering up my space that I really don't need. So by listening to podcasts, or even that aren't to do with minimalism, just kind of like motivational talks or anything like that, I find that that really helps me to keep me in the zone and keep me motivated and really re-inspired to keep going with my goals. You have to remember that habits are hard to break, so it's kind of like exercising a muscle. You need to keep at it and keep really positive about it and just get excited about why you're doing this in the first place, and then you're going to be so much more successful, and that reward at the end is going to be so much better. Number 6 is to set up a savings account that you cannot access easily. This is something that I started doing a few months ago, and it started to really make a big difference. Every time I wanted to buy something, if I had the means available to do so, instead of buying that item however much I wanted it, I put that money in my savings account instead. And after doing that for a few months, when you go to your savings account, you kind of realize how much money you are going to spend on just an absolute load of shit that you don't need, and also how much money you've been able to save simply by choosing not to buy and to invest in yourself instead. Being able to choose whether to buy something or not is an immense privilege, and it's something we have to be really mindful of and really responsible for. So by choosing to instead save that money, think about all what you could do with that money instead. There's such a lot that you can do when you choose simply to shop less. So I love this one. I really recommend it because I think out of everything, it's incredibly eye-opening to see how much money you would have spent on this stuff, and that to me was quite shocking in itself. Number 7, and arguably the most important one, and that is to focus on why you're doing this in the first place. Why do we do anything? You know, why do we try to eat healthily? Why do we try to get up at 5 a.m. every day? Why do we save money or try to stop buying? When you make a connection to something, that is when the real habits change and the created new ones. You're so much more likely to stay on track with something if you really believe in what you're doing and you really kind of engage with that process in the first place. If you're doing it because you just kind of are interested in shopping a bit less and saving a bit of money, like, that's not really going to keep you on track in terms of the long run. For example, I am trying to wake up at 6 a.m. latest every single morning, and I've been able to create that habit successfully so far because I have a goal in mind and I have a routine. So every time I wake up in the morning, I get up, I go and make a cup of tea, I come back and sit down, and I do 2 hours of straight work. And then once that work is done, then I have my breakfast. So having that kind of routine in mind helps you so much to keep on track. So for example, if you don't want to buy something because you're trying to save money, again, going back to the tip before, if every time you want something and you have the means to do so, put that money in your savings account instead, just as kind of like a reflex. And then it becomes a habit that's self-conscious rather than something that you're actively choosing to do. So yeah, focus on what's important and focus on the connection that you've created with why you're stopping to buy things. Number 8, another practical one, only go shopping to physical shops when you genuinely need something. I have found that by avoiding places like Oxford Street and other places which have loads and loads and loads of shops, the temptation simply is not there. So if I absolutely desperately need something, I will write it down, I will wait 30 days, and then if I still need it, unless of course it's an emergency, then I will go and buy it. And I will go in and I will be very, very, very focused about what it is that I'm buying, and I'm only there because there's something I absolutely need. Apart from that, I try to avoid shops at all. I try to not browse, because browsing leads to impulse buys, because I have a weak will. So for me, the best thing to do is simply to stay away from the shops, and that might be something that might be good for you to do too. Number 9, why are you buying so much stuff? Why are you compelled to buy so much stuff? This is a question we should all be asking ourselves if we are going down this route, because sometimes buying stuff can be linked to low self-esteem, and we can become these materialistic people even though we don't mean to, because we don't have the self-confidence to believe that what we have already is good enough and is valuable enough, and we don't need what everybody else has. So by trying to get to the root of the problem and understanding why you buy so much stuff in the first place can be a really good tool for ensuring that you stay motivated whilst you're trying to break those bad habits and create new ones. And number 10, which is focusing kind of on more to do with your wardrobe and your clothing, because one of the biggest ways that we waste, and not only materials, buying new things, but also our money, and also, this is where we tend to try and keep up with trends and what other people are doing. So my biggest advice to you would be to create a capsule wardrobe. I've actually just created my own and put up a video, so I will link it somewhere around here and you should go and check it out. Because when you create a capsule wardrobe, then it means that you have only, say, 20, 30 pieces of clothing that you absolutely love and you're going to wear every day, or mix and match, wear for a couple of weeks. And you're going to be ensuring that there's so much more value in those clothes because you have hand-picked them to wear and you love them, and you're going to take a lot more care of them because you have less. So creating a capsule wardrobe can be so beneficial in so many ways. It also helps to declutter, your wardrobe and your cupboards, because you'll have less clothes as well. And then you'll have more space for other stuff, or simply just to have negative space, which can be incredibly calming. So yeah, if you're interested in seeing my sort of full autumn capsule wardrobe, I will link it down below or at the end of this video, and I would love for you to check that out as well. So those were my 10 tips on how to stop buying stuff, and I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please give it a like and comment any of your own tips. It'd be great to hear kind of what you're doing to help save money and stop buying stuff as well, and whether you're a minimalist or a low impactor or a zero waster or whatever, it's so great to see other people consuming less and being more mindful about those choices. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you very soon. Once again, thank you to all my patrons who are supporting me on Patreon. You are all just wonderful. Thank you so much. You help me to do the work that I do. And if you're interested, again, I'll put the link down below, and please check it out if you're interested. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Bye.